Hey, welcome pilots to the Part-Time Pilot YouTube channel. I am Nick. Today's video is going to be relatively short. We're going to do it on ATC traffic callouts. So in this video, we're going to try and succeed in answering the questions. When you hear an ATC traffic callout, what does that mean? How do you interpret that traffic callout to understand where that traffic is in relation to you? And then we're also going to understand it from the ATC's point of view so that you know exactly where that traffic is in relation to you. And then we're going to do an example at the end of this video so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So when ATC calls out radar traffic, they call it out in relation to a 12-hour clock. And when they do this, they're referencing the position of the aircraft relative to the aircraft's ground track. So the current direction of the aircraft's ground track. So this is different than your course or heading. It's the actual ground track. So I'll explain what that means. While a course, is what you intend to travel along the ground, a track is a path you actually end up taking along the ground. So ATC on their radar screen, they only see where you're actually traveling in relation to the ground. So that's all that they can see. So when they call it traffic, that's what it's referencing. Again, so that's what I say here. They have your radar signature overlaid on a map of the ground, and therefore they watch your track along the ground. So let's show this visually so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so here we have just you in this aircraft, and you want to fly straight north, right? So your nose is pointed north, and this is the track. This is the course that you want to take. This is the ground track that you hope to take. Okay, and let's say we have some wind. Okay, so we have some wind from the west. And what that's actually going to do, if we don't crab into the wind or make any adjustments, it's actually going to put us on this ground track. So we're actually, instead of traveling over the ground here, we're going to travel over the ground here. Okay? So that's the difference between the course we wanted to take and the actual ground track. So ATC is seeing this ground track. All right, so ATC, they see a little airplane pointed in the direction of the ground track. Okay, they're not showing, your aircraft with the wind and all that. They don't care about the wind. All they care about is your ground track, and your ground track shows that you're pointed that way, even though you're not pointed that way. But that's what they think. They think you're pointed that way because that's the direction you're going. So let's do an example of a call out. So ATC calls out traffic 7 o'clock, 2 miles northbound. Okay, so if we put a little clock on here, if we put it on our actual around our actual aircraft, 7 o'clock off our 7 is going to be off our, behind us and to our left. So the traffic is going to be somewhere along this line. But as we said, ATC uses our ground track, not our course or our actual positioning of our aircraft. So their clock is positioned around this aircraft, right? The aircraft they see on their screen, which is pointed along the ground track. So that 7 o'clock is here. So the 7 o'clock before was about right here. So it's still in the general area, but it's a little bit different. Now, when you're flying and you hear 7 o'clock, you're gonna expect the aircraft to be behind you and to your left, because that's where 7 o'clock is, and that's how you should think of it. But just know that it might not be exactly at 7, so you got to do some scanning, because again, ATC uses this track here to go based off your 7 o'clock. All right, so here's the traffic. So this is what the traffic would look like. It's off our 7. Let's say this was 2 miles, even though that's probably more than 2 miles on this map. But let's just say that's 2 miles. And then it's traveling in the northern direction. And again, for the traffic, ATC is looking at their ground track. So this is what ATC is seeing. And in reality, if the wind is pointing this way, this aircraft would have to be crabbed into the wind like that in order to get this perfectly north ground track. So it's just some things to think about. Again, I don't think this should change how you think about where to look for traffic, but just know that, you know, it might be off by a couple numbers because of this phenomenon. And it's important to know what ATC is seeing as well. All right, so you should expect traffic flying in the direction of north, behind and to the left of your ground track. So hopefully that made sense to you guys. If not, comment below. And then as always, follow me on Instagram at part.time.pilot. And if you haven't yet, please like this video and subscribe so you can see more videos coming in the future. And we have a ton. We have over 80 videos in different playlists. So go check those out while you're studying for your exams. And then if you haven't yet, go to parttimepilot.com and click on the courses. If you're looking for a ground school, you're preparing for your FAA written test, we have yet to have someone fail the written test who's gone through our ground school. So we have a very high success rate, 100%. And then our check ride prep course, a lot of people are starting to get on that and finding out how useful that is. We have a bunch of situational based questions throughout the review of the lessons and the material in there, exactly like the type of questions the examiner is going to ask you, and we tell you exactly what to expect and the flow of what to expect through your entire oral, proving the aircraft is airworthy, your weight and balance, your cross-country plan that you planned beforehand. We walk you through all that, and then we review the stuff you're going to be tested up in the air while you're flying. So check that stuff out. Thanks for watching.